Let me start by telling you something that might surprise you. Everything you think you know about getting older is completely wrong. And the worst part? The people who were supposed to tell you the truth, your parents, your teachers, society itself, either lied to you or they never understood it themselves. I'm 75 years old now. I don't say that for sympathy. I say it because time has finally made me honest. You see, I spent the first 55 years of my life believing the same things you probably believe right now. That if I worked hard enough, if I stayed disciplined, if I delayed joy just a little longer, everything would eventually fall into place. I thought I had it figured out. I had a stable career. I had a home people admired. I had the respect of my peers. From the outside, it looked like success. But at 57, something happened that shattered every illusion I had about life, death, and everything in between. Before I tell you what that was, I need you to understand something. The reason I'm telling this story isn't to impress you. It's not to sound wise. And it's certainly not to pretend I lived some perfect life. I'm telling you this because I'm running out of time. And there are things you need to hear before it's too late. Not for me, for you. Let me take you back. I was a librarian. Not a job people usually associate with ambition or ego. But don't let that fool you. I loved books. I loved knowledge. I loved the quiet order of libraries, the way ideas could live forever on shelves. But even in that calm environment, I was obsessed with one thing: security. I believed money was safety. I believed stability was happiness. And I believed sacrifice today would buy me freedom tomorrow. So I worked and worked and worked some more. Late evenings, weekends, missed dinners, missed birthdays. I told myself stories that felt responsible. After the next promotion, I'll slow down. After I save a little more, we'll travel. After things settle, I'll spend more time with my kids. But things never settled. Life doesn't work that way. Years passed quietly. Too quietly. My children grew up while I was busy being responsible. My marriage survived, but it didn't thrive. And somewhere along the way, I stopped asking myself if I was actually happy. At 57, I was sitting in a meeting. We were discussing quarterly projections, numbers on paper, deadlines, budgets. And then, my heart tried to kill me. That's what the doctors called a cardiac event. A polite phrase for something violent and unforgiving. One moment I was talking. The next, I was on the floor. Cold, confused, terrified. I remember waking up in a hospital bed. The beeping machines, the sterile smell, the ceiling tiles I couldn't stop staring at. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't thinking about money. I wasn't thinking about work. I was thinking about one question. What have I done with my life? My heart could stop at any moment. And what had I really built? I had spent decades chasing financial comfort, telling myself I'd enjoy life later. I kept saying, after this promotion, I'll plan that trip. But that trip never happened. Later never came. While I was lying there, another memory hit me hard. A friend of mine. He was a businessman, driven, disciplined, relentless. 16-hour workdays, no vacations, no breaks. He used to laugh when I told him to slow down. "I'll enjoy life after retirement," he'd say. "Just a few more years." He was planning to retire at 58. He had trips planned, dreams saved for later. But later didn't wait for him. He died the very next year. I attended his funeral. I still remember what his son said. "My father left me millions of dollars," he said, "but I barely knew him." That sentence stayed with me. It's been 15 years since then, and it still echoes in my mind. Money can replace many things, but it cannot replace presence. It cannot replace memories. It cannot replace love. Lying in that hospital bed, I realized something terrifying. I was walking the same path. Yes, I wasn't a businessman working 16 hours a day, but I was absent in my own way. I missed moments that mattered, moments that never come back. The book I always wanted to write, but never started. The time I didn't spend with my children because I was working late. The conversations I postponed. The affection I assumed could wait. These things don't disappear. They eat at you. The missed opportunities. The roads not taken. The love you didn't express. The risks you avoided because you were afraid. We live like time is unlimited. Like our parents will always be there. Like our siblings will always answer the phone. Like our friends will always be around. They won't. My father died when I was 45. We had a complicated relationship. We disagreed often. We left many things unsaid. And one day, there was no more time to say them. That regret doesn't fade. It settles deep. After my heart attack, everything slowed down. For the first time, life forced me to listen. Not to doctors, not to machines, but to myself. And what I heard scared me. I had spent my youth buying a future that was never guaranteed. This is where my story truly begins. After the heart attack, nothing changed overnight. That's the part people don't tell you. There was no sudden wisdom, no dramatic transformation the moment I left the hospital. What I felt instead was fear, a quiet, persistent fear that followed me home. Every small pain in my chest made me stop. Every fast heartbeat made me question how much time I really had left. For the first time, I understood something very clearly. Time is not generous. It only feels that way when you are young. As the weeks passed, the doctors focused on my physical recovery. Medication, diet changes, daily walks. But no one talked about the damage I had done to myself long before my heart failed. The years of stress, the constant pressure to be productive, the belief that rest had to be earned. I had ignored my mental health completely. Back then, we didn't talk about burnout. We didn't talk about emotional exhaustion. We just called it being responsible. But responsibility without balance slowly destroys you. I started walking every morning, not to exercise, just to think. And that's when the regrets became loud. I thought about the trip to Germany I always promised myself. I had imagined walking through old libraries there, historic streets, quiet cafes, time alone with my thoughts. But I had convinced myself that travel was a reward, not a necessity. Something you do after you finish living. I spent my youth earning money. I spent my middle age protecting it. And suddenly, I was old, wondering where my life had gone. I also thought about my children. They were grown now, independent, busy with lives of their own. They respected me, but respect is not the same as closeness. I realized I had been physically present but emotionally distant for many years. I was always tired, always distracted, always planning for a future that kept moving away. The heart attack forced me to see a truth I had avoided. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It moves forward, whether you are paying attention or not. Slowly, I began to make changes. Small ones at first. I stopped working late. Not because I couldn't, but because I chose not to. I started saying no without guilt. I spent mornings reading for pleasure, not productivity. Books with no purpose other than enjoyment. I talked to my children more. Not to advise, just to listen. I told them stories I had never shared before. About my fears. About my mistakes. And something surprising happened. The more honest I became, the lighter I felt. I also started writing. Not the book I had dreamed of for decades. Not yet. Just pages, thoughts, memories, lessons I didn't want to forget again. Writing became a way to forgive myself. Because here's something no one tells you about regret. It doesn't mean you failed completely. It means you cared too late. And caring late is still better than never caring at all. I reached out to old friends. Some relationships were already gone. Too much time had passed. But others were waiting quietly. People you think have moved on often haven't. They're just waiting for you to show up. I also thought a lot about my father. After he died, I carried anger and sadness for years. But as I grew older, I began to understand him. He was doing the best he could with what he knew. Just like I was. Just like you are. Understanding doesn't erase pain, but it softens it. And softening is necessary if you want peace. One day, while cleaning out old boxes, I found photos from my younger years. In those pictures, I looked full of plans. Confident. Certain. I wanted to reach through time and say something to that younger man. Not advice about money. Not warnings about failure. Just this. Don't wait. Don't wait to live. Don't wait to love. Don't wait to rest. Because tomorrow is not promised. We tell ourselves lies that sound responsible. I'll travel when I retire. I'll focus on my health after this busy phase. I'll spend time with family when work slows down. Work rarely slows down. Life rarely gets quieter. And health doesn't wait for permission. I learned that the hard way. If you are young and listening to this, I want you to hear me clearly. Your time is not infinite. The people you love will not always be there. Your body will not always forgive you. Your energy will not always return. Money is important. Stability matters. But they are tools, not the purpose. If you spend your entire life sharpening tools and never building anything meaningful with them, You will feel empty in the end. Take care of your mental health now, not later. Say what you feel now, not someday. Take the trip when you can, not when it's convenient. Write the book. Make the call. Apologize if you need to. Forgive if you can. And please understand this: waiting for tomorrow is the most dangerous habit of all. Because one day, tomorrow doesn't come. I'm 75 now. I still have regrets. But I also have clarity. And clarity, even late, is a gift. If my story saves you even a few years of waiting, if it makes you choose presence over pressure just once, then sharing this was worth it. If you want to hear more real-life experiences like this, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so you don't miss future stories. If you have any objections, questions, or thoughts related to my story, let me know in the comments. I read them and I will reply. And if you've lived through an experience that changed you, something real, something meaningful, and you want me to share it in a future video, feel free to tell your story in the comments. I'll be listening, because stories like yours deserve to be heard before the chance is gone.